Hello traders, it's 𝗧𝗿𝗰𝗿 here. Welcome to session 160. I just thought I'd get on camera a trade I've just taken on oil. I'm popping out of the high of day at the moment. I'm long 6 contracts after 16 ticks per contract. I'm now well and truly at break even. So let's see if we can get up here. Just lock in a few more ticks here. We are at the high of day, which can be a tough one because quite often you run up to the high of day, push through by a few ticks, pull back, push through. So we'll just see how we go here. Now oil today has been the last, what is this here now, the last hour has been very choppy, but prior to that oil has been fantastic. However, with that being said, we do have what's going on in the Strait at the moment with Iran. So great, we're filled on that. So that's 932 after commissions. However, it's been very quick, very fast. Normally this time of day, now this is 127 what is it here, 1:35 a.m. Central Standard Time. So we are only 25 minutes away from the London Open. Now normally this time of day we can trade the 2-tick CL and no problems at all, but the last couple of weeks with the war in Iran, the market's been going absolutely crazy, and the same applies with the ES. We're quite often traders with the ES. I'm trading the one, believe it or not, the 1-tick during the Globex session, usually the 2-tick. Impossible during the New York hours, that is. That's on the Renko. During New York hours on the ES, you're going to be up around the 4-tick. That's very important, and don't want to be jumping from one thing to another. But the time frame that you trade is critical. I get asked virtually every day, which is the right time frame to be trading, and as I say, whichever is tradable. Okay, so now we're filled on this particular trade. Let's get to our PowerPoint here. So welcome traders. This is, and I will expand this fully. Let's see here, this is session 160, live trading the ES. So in today's session we're going to be looking at how I trade Renko charts. I've got a recording there of 5 from 5 which we'll replay, and I'll explain step by step exactly why I'm trading, the setup I am, and why I've got in, where I place my stop and where I exit. As always traders, if I'm a bit all over the place, my videos are raw, real and unedited. Okay, so let's pause this for 1 sec. And the reason I wanted to pause this, I had a trade on the ES which I didn't get filled on. It's decided to go to the long side. This is very important. Whenever you have a trade, a resting trade in the market, make sure you go back and cancel it. Simple thing, it's so easy to forget things like this. Okay, so let's get back to the session. 5 out of 5. So traders, there is a risk in trading. Please don't trade with money you can't afford to lose. Stay on the simulator until you are consistently profitable. Now what you'll notice is traders, I trade using Renko charts and tick charts most of the time, but the setups that I teach you can apply to any market, any time frame, any chart type, as long as we've got some volume and some movement in the market. So I mentioned in today's session, which I'm going to replay, I had 5 from 5 long and short on 10 contracts, and so I'll explain each setup as I go along. So as I mentioned, I have recorded this session. A very quick advertisement: if you haven't already, please feel free to download my ebook, The Truth About Day Trading, in the description link below. Make sure you subscribe to my channel so you'll be kept up to date with all of my videos, and better still, come and join me for $297 traders. You get all of my indicators. There's over 200 hours of online training. There's 35 PowerPoints. There's over 15 of the world's best day trading strategies. Now relax, you don't have to learn them all. In fact, I recommend that all traders focus on just 2 setups. I'll show you what those are when we get to the video. Now traders, all of this for $297, you have lifetime access to the members area, and let me tell you traders, this would have to be probably the most comprehensive day traders and scalpers website members area globally. For an example, we just added a new section today on must-watch training videos of the best setups that I have. And so what I do, I record my trading, then I'll go back and recap and post it in the members area so you can benefit from that. Traders, I have a bonus also going at the moment where you can join my master trading coaching program. That is for 1 month. I grant you access to 8 live coaching sessions where every Tuesday, Wednesday evening, 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. I run a 2-hour session where I'm teaching you everything from money management through to entries, through to exits, the psychology of trading, and a whole lot more. And globally, I have 315 traders booked into that. And why should you be listening to me? Well, besides the fact I've been trading now for 28 years, I also run a live trading room 3 days a week, and I've got 240 traders from around the world also attend those sessions. So for $297, you can get lifetime access to the members area, and I'll give you 1 month access to the coaching sessions. There's 8 sessions, each is 2 hours. If you can't make the live session, you can watch the recording. And also traders, there is no automatic sign up. If after that time period you wish to continue, you can simply drop me an email and we'll continue. You can continue with the sessions. Sorry everyone, I'm just seeing if we get, I'm just moving something here and seeing if we can get a, let me see, yes, let me move, just lower that. If I see a setup on the ES as we're running through this, I'll show you that, and we'll see if we get a live session, sorry, a live trade in. Just watch and see how we go. Oh, and by the way, on the coaching sessions, I've been running these for years, so this is my 95th month, and that's since I've been keeping these folders. And in each folder, by the way, there are 8 sessions, as I mentioned. There are handouts, additional PowerPoints, etc. But the great news is you don't have to go through and learn all of it. However, there are some secrets to day trading. It's not rocket science, but you need to apply yourself. That is, you've got to get screen time. I can give you some of the world's best day trading strategies, but you've got to implement them. You've got to follow the rules. And that's another very, very important factor here, traders, is my setups are pattern based, and rules based, which makes it so much easier. And let's just have one more look at this on the 2 tick. Okay, so I want you to notice here we've got a pivot up above. Now for members watching this, you had a T10 just here, but I was looking for a potential short. This is midnight, and we can see here we've got the pivot. Now generally speaking, traders, we'd be expecting to push through the high of the day and kiss the pivot. You see, there are certain levels that become self-fulfilling prophecies. They are pivots, high and low of day, prior days open, high, low. Now all of these plot automatically on your charts. Okay, so this is, by the way, a standard floor pivot. If I scrunch down here, that there is a Camarilla pivot, and we can see yesterday's high. Now you may think, if you're a brand new trader, how am I going to learn all of this? Well, it's not rocket science, traders. It really isn't. And after an hour or two of training, you soon pick this up. But let's now go back to the PowerPoint because I don't have anything yet. It's been, by the way, it's been a very slow and choppy day. This is what I want to avoid overall when I'm trading. I'm looking for a clear fanning and for my EMAs to be trending. And this is where traders ask me, well, look, you're a good 85-90% win-loss ratio. How do you do that? Well, actually, it's quite easy. Note here, I'm starting to get a fanning. Now here I was getting ready for my trading today. I then had some lower lows. I pulled back and I was looking for a short here. Not to be. We've now rallied to the long side. What I'll now look for is a retracement and then a trade entry back to the long side. And as I mentioned, we're only 15 minutes away from the London Open now, and so the volume will really pick up, the patterns pick up, etc. But this is really about being patient. Now for brand new traders, I want you to remember this as we go to the video in a moment. See the gold line there? It may look like there's a lot on the charts at the moment, but there's really only a couple of things you need to focus on. See the black and the white arrows, and see the white paint bar. They will actually give you entry points, exact entry points where to enter a trade. But by following the gold here, you want to be trading in the direction of the gold EMA, and it just makes it really easy for new traders. Now as you're about to see how profitable this can be, but let's get back to the PowerPoint. First of all, one of the mistakes I feel that traders make is that they want to go for the home run. Virtually every trade we want to get a home run, where I believe in what I call just get on base. Okay, just get on base. So what if you only make $50, $100 per contract out of that move? Now providing your losses aren't $400 or $500 each time, but overall as scalpers we want to get in, get out, get paid. Now let's just look at this constructively for a moment. Now stay with me, because this is the difference between a winning trader and a losing trader. Most traders don't want to know about the money management side of it, but ultimately traders, we are our own money managers. We're funds managers managing our own money. If you're say running with a prop firm, as I've got many of my members do, you're managing their money. They've basically leased you a $50, $100, $200,000 trading account. You pay them a percentage of your profits, but once again you're a money manager. Now to trade the 2-tick ES correctly, the way I trade it, and that is safely, never ever risking any more than 2%, you need $6,250. Now I know what you're thinking. Oh, my broker told me that I only need $500 to $1,000 intraday margins on the ES. That is true. However, if you have a stop loss of up to 10 ticks, which is what we will have on the 2-tick Renko, that's $125. That's 2% of $6,250. Now if you don't have that money to begin with, you can start off on the micro. Now if you start on the micro traders and go for just $32 a day, potentially within 12 weeks, legally I've got to say potentially, you've now got $7,000 there, and you've got a weekly income of $1,500. What this enables you to do then is roll over from only having $630 and roll over and start trading the big contract. Now on the big contract, if you go for 4 7-step trades a day, and when I show you the live recording in a moment, you'll see what I mean by that. That's 330. We've hit our target. Within 10 weeks you've got the potential there of a $10,000 a week income. Your account's now nearly 50,000. Look where you are in 13 weeks, earning over 20-odd thousand a week. That's a true potential. Now for the young guns here, what if you went for a larger account? Because for me, I want to get in, get out, get paid, finish for the day. For young guns, you might choose to keep trading 6 8-tick trades a day, 500 a day. Look where you are in 6 weeks, 8 weeks potentially, $25,000-30,000 a week income. That is the true potential. Now for those that were thinking, okay, 6,000, a 10 tick stop, I can get away with a smaller stop loss. If you run with an 8 tick stop loss and you've got a $4,000 account, that means you've got a 2.5% risk. An experienced trader, you can do that, you can run with that. Okay, and here within 9 weeks you're there, and within, if you go for 300 a day on a 4,000 account, okay, look where you are in 8 weeks and 10 weeks. Now how do you then do that? You trade setups off trending EMAs. You want to make sure you've got some momentum. So let's go to the video, the recording, and I can still see that ES has not given us anything, so I think everything should change in 10-15 minutes. But let's play back this video. So I'm going to walk you through this step by step, exactly what I'm looking for. Now first of all, I've got a new higher high. Don't be fooled by the simplicity of what I'm going to show you here. I think it was Richard Branson said that any fool can make something look complicated, and what we're looking at doing the majority of the time, unless I've got a really good reversal trade, we want to be trading in the direction of the trend. Now I've gone long here. I've got a retracement, a pullback, and I'm targeting just below the pivot up above. Okay, so here I'm long. My target overall is 325 a day, so that's my personal target. A young gun might say, look, I'm after 500, 600, but with this sort of target, very high probability trading the setups that I trade. So here I'm targeting, I could probably have increased that. We'll see in a moment what happened. I could probably have increased that by another couple of ticks here. I'm probably 2 ticks away from the pivot. But what we want to do is front run pivots. Front run means get out before we actually hit it or take profits, and particularly if you've got a good run up, because as professional traders, we know there's usually stops up above, etc. There'll be traders like me wanting to get out. And so here we haven't hit it yet, so I'm still in this trade. So this here was filmed some time ago, so I can't remember what happens. So I'm getting a retracement here. Now okay, we love pivots. Okay, one of the things, by the way, at times I think it could be more profitable. Now we call these steps, by the way, just to be clear here. So 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10, so that actually is 12 steps in total. What I'm looking at just here, and I want to explain this to you. So in many ways I probably would have been better off getting out of that trade there with at least 8 to 10 steps and looking for a re-entry. Okay, because still I've got a very good chance I'm going to go up there and kiss the pivot. No guarantee. In fact, you've got to be careful you don't fall in love with your belief what's going to happen, but I know there's a very good chance. Now look where we're bouncing. See that black line? Traders, this is called my anchor chart 1. I'm bouncing off an EMA from a much higher time frame. You'll be blown away when you see the different lengths of EMAs that I use and how they act as major support or resistance. That can be support as well. But whenever we buy, and that's why I'm thinking now, really with this trade I should have got out and just then looked for another re-entry. Look at the trend here. I've got no divergence, and what that usually means, after a pullback, a retracement, I've usually got a very good chance of a trend continuation. So now I've gone up there once. Okay, what do I say? Look what I missed. So there you go. I was surprised that I didn't exit up here and picked up a profit here. So I'm still in the trade. We've gone back to break even. Now we're rallying back up again, and we're having our second shot at that major EMA, that major area of resistance. Now I've now gone to break even, so we're now at break even. We've locked 3 ticks in per contract, so if it does come back and stop me out, I'll be okay. I'll just turn my camera off just because I'm not sure whether you can actually see the full screen there. Now look at that there. So we've gone up there and we missed it by 1 tick. I actually was looking at the camera, so let me just see if it shows that. Okay, I don't know if it does or not there, but anyway, we rallied up, we've exited that trade, and we've missed the pivot by 1 tick. Now pivots traders are zones. They're not an exact well, they're an exact area but an exact zone, which means you can hit or miss by a few ticks. But I want to point this potential setup just here, setup I should say, my apologies. So this is what I call a T3. You usually find with a T3 we have no divergence, and it's what we call a reversion to the mean setup. Now traders, I recommend all new traders do not trade reversals initially until you're consistently profitable. Now here I'm after a scalp, okay, because they're a higher risk trade. I want you to stick to trading these. Now these are what we call 2Bs, 34Bs and 1613s. Very easy to learn once you understand what they are, but we're looking at trading with the trend, and this is where it's a matter of just sitting back on hands and waiting. Now just here we have a potential long just here. Now this would be oops, and nothing happened. In fact, we rolled over and it's turned into a T20-1. See that there's a little white dot there? Can you see that white dot there? There's one over here, there's one here. It's fantastic at picking turning points, but I don't usually trade the turning point itself. I trade the first setup after that. That is, you may have read in various and watched some videos or read things on Google or in books about moving average crossovers and how long term they don't actually work. They do work if you add filters. That is, I don't trade the crossover, I wait for a retracement pullback. It's like a breakout pullback, very high probability. See this one over here, we had no pullback. Or what about that one? We're on a major EMA. There is no way known I want a short just there. Okay, we don't have one here. I break out, pullback, thank you very much. Here I break down, pullback, thank you very much. So we've got our trend trades and we've got our reversal setups. Now down here I've perhaps gone to break even. Maybe it looks like I'm going a little early, but that's because of the major EMA down here. Okay, because there's a very good chance that we will bounce. See how we bounced off it there? I've got a very good chance of bouncing it here. Now see on the other side, this is actually my target. Now generally in a fast moving market, traders, I'm after 10 ticks in a move, maybe 8 to 10 ticks, but I'll scalp 2 or 3 ticks if I think I've got something, a brick wall in front of me. So let's see what happens. I've gone to break even, I've locked 3 ticks in per contract and I'm out of that. Okay, so I'm stopped out. Now just note here we are potentially bouncing off a major EMA. So let me move this along. Okay, now I've taken this entry. Now this entry here, and you can see there we continued to bounce. For members watching, it's a bet the farm and it's a 3B. Once again, a bet the farm is a rules-based pattern. It's a pattern that we see appear every market, virtually every day. Now note my target here is just above the pivot. Okay, So we'll see what happens when we get up to that target. So I'm long on a 3B and a bet the farm. Now the entries that you see me put in, like up there and even this one, are based upon something that's happening on the higher time frame, and it gives me an exact point of entry, where to go long or where to go short. So let's see how we go here. There's a good chance we could bounce. Now what you'll sometimes see me do is get out of a trade if I think we are going to bounce. Once again, rather than going for the home runs, just get on base. So here we're waiting. I'm at break even. I've only gone to break even plus 1 tick. Now when you go to break even plus 1 tick, when it comes back to take us out, it's a market order. So what I'm trying to do by going to break even plus 1 is to cover my commissions. Sometimes you get stopped out without even your commissions being covered. With the ES, that's not as common as say on the NQ, just because of the pure volume that we've got. So here we're looking for this bounce up here. Come on. Now I'd locked in and I'm out of that trade. Okay, I decided to exit, and I can't think of what I was thinking at that stage, but I'm a bit below that, and it might have been I'm a bit worried about, see this here, that high to this low. Quite often this can be a reversal point. Let me move this along, and damn it, it kept going. And in fact, just there, that would have been a 16-13 setup. So members watching, that was a 16-13, but just be aware we could still bounce off this pivot. Now we still could have picked up 4 ticks, say 4 ticks per contract just there. Now 4 ticks, that's $50 per contract. Now here, remember, we're after that 20 to 26 net ticks a day. So this is trade number 4. So let's see, I'll move this along a wee bit. Okay, we're just moving this along. Maybe we're going to rally up to the high there. Just pointing out different setups, the T20s I mentioned. Okay, so here we've got a T10 on the anchor chart 1. A T10 is a very high probability reversal signal. We get and we trade on both the entry chart and the anchor chart 1. Once again, it's a simple pattern, very rules based. Okay, I've come down to the major EMA here. I could have, by the way, and maybe I missed that, because normally I would have taken this as a trade short. Okay, so here, patiently waiting. Okay, so here it looks like now I've gone short here. So and the reason I've gone short, see the T20 just there. See up here I had T20s. Okay, so I've got a number of T20s, and this is a trend continuation signal, this one. So I've gone short. Now once again, new traders, you might be looking at this thinking, how am I going to remember all of this? Well, with proper training, step-by-step training, it's a little bit like, I describe it best as learning how to drive a manual, a stick shift. First couple of days, how on earth are going to remember the clutch, the indicator, the rear vision mirror, the accelerator, the brake? Within 30 days you've got it down pat. All of this is patterns, traders. Everything I'm trading here is a pattern. Now initially, and that was the speed of that, by the way, for me to put wow there. So that just popped straight down. All right, so that was a T10 entry. Okay, now if you're using, this is on Intraday, if you're using a platform, say such as TradingView, I give you all of my indicator settings that you can set up and replicate just about everything I do in any trading platform, because all of these, except for a couple little things like the T20 I've just coded, which is something that happens with some moving averages, you can set up on every trading platform. But if you've got NinjaTrader, all of this is custom. If you've got TradeStation, by the way, I've got all indicators for TradeStation, etc. Okay, so we're out of this. That is, I've got 5 for 5. That was so after commissions, that was 3.5. There was another great setup just after that if we had been in there. Now you may wonder why I believe in the power of quitting, the POQ. There's nothing more frustrating. You hit your target, then you have a loss or two, then you've got to sort of go back and look for more. I find that works for me really well. Now let's also, traders, just have a look at what's happened on, and here it is right there, there, and there. So can you remember what I mentioned here when we broke above? I said we need a retracement. Now there is no second guessing your entry. See the arrow. You're either going to enter on the arrow, which gets you in on the next brick, or the white paint bar, which gets you in on the third brick. Remember what I mentioned about the gold. Follow the gold. That's what you're doing here. Now to net traders, just to remind you here, to go and net your 325 a day, you need 4 trades a day. Let me just show you this. So that was 1 2 3 4 5 6 7. There's 7. Now that one there you would have only picked up, and let's call that a stop out. Here is easily 7. Okay, so we're looking for these, and by the way, for deeper retracements and bounces off the major EMAs are some of the best. So let's also just check out what's happening on oil, and look at this on oil. You may remember the trade I took. Did I show you this? I can't remember, but I took a trade on oil just before we started the session. Here is your next entry. Here's your next. Now with this particular trade, I need to look at the anchor chart. We may have been stopped out of that trade. If you had one there too, by the way, we may have been stopped. So what I do is, let me look at the anchor chart here, and I'll tell you whether I would have been stopped out of that. Yes, I would have taken that trade and been stopped, but immediately then ignore that one, because there's something on the anchor chart that tells you not to take that one. Okay, you've got one there, we've got one here, you've got one here. Now see this just here. This is what we call a fanning of the EMA. See that? Now at 206, this is now the open of the London session. Note the massive angulation. This is called angulation. When you've had a run like this, and you had an entry here as well, we have to be cautious with these trades just here. Remember, whenever you've got massive angulation, there's a very good chance you'll have a setup only to see it fail and pull back. Now we're live right now. Maybe it's going to come back down, but I recommend you wait for a second trade entry rather than taking the first when you've got major angulation. Now all of this and much more, of course, you're learning in my coaching sessions. You're able to type in questions and say, what about this, Ray? What about that? You're able to send in emails or questions on and ask me about various setups, etc. And so that's 16 hours across the month of one-on-one coaching is virtually invaluable. It allows you to ask questions. It's just like having your own personal coach there. Now, and even if you're a quiet mouse in these sessions, you've got other members asking questions, asking detailed questions. So come and join me, traders. Now also you can download the spreadsheet here, and one thing I failed to mention in the description link below is that you only start adding and trading a second contract every time you double your money. So therefore, to go for say if you're trading here you need 6,250. We only start trading the second contract when we have another 6,250 in our account. I'm talking about a realistic trading plan. And one thing I just saw here I want to point out, so second entry there, I may not have even taken that until here. Now this is getting a bit too fast for me, but I just want to show you this here. See that pattern just there? This is angulation as well. Here you just had a short signal there. You had a signal to go short. Note what you're bouncing off. You're bouncing off a pivot. Note what you're bouncing off here. A pivot, yesterday's high, and off a major EMA. When you learn the power of these become what we call a self-fulfilling prophecy. So traders, the description links below. Claim your goodies. Better still, come and join me. Thanks traders, and I'll see you in hopefully one of my coaching sessions. Thank you traders.